All right, welcome back. Today we're going to go through the test review for PCM for Unit 6. As you can see, for number 1, we've got two systems of linear equations. The first one is already solved for y, so we know that y is 8. We're going to plug that up here into the top one and solve for x. And we'll get down to 2x equals 40 and divide, and x is 20. Please don't forget when you're doing these systems to write your answer as an ordered pair. Number 2, very similar, only we got to do a little background work here. This first one, we're going to solve for x. So we do that by moving the 2y over. Now that I know what x is, I can plug that into the first equation. That gives me everything in terms of y, and so y is 7. I'll plug y back into the original equation up here. So 2 times 7 is 14. 14 minus 4 will be 10. Alright, so start off with substitution. This next group here, now we're going to use elimination. They were kind to us with number 3. Notice the y's are opposites. So I can add them right away and the y's will cancel out. And we'll get 13x equal to 26. And then I'll divide. So x is 2. At that point you have your choice. You can plug it into either equation you want, either the top one or the bottom one. I just chose to put it in the top one and solve for y, and so y was 3. Again, don't forget to put your ordered pairs in parentheses there at the end. So if we've got x and y, write as an ordered pair. Please be careful here with your signs. If they're opposites, you add. If they're the same, then you're going to subtract. You notice here for number 4, we got a little background work to do. The y's are opposite signs, but they are not the same number. So I'm going to multiply this top equation by 2. Which you see right up here, multiply the bottom one by 3. That gives me negative 6y and positive 6y. Now they're opposites, so I can add them. So 27x equal to negative 216, and I divide x is negative 8. Then again, I have the choice to plug it into either one of these equations. I chose the top one just because y was positive there. So plug this in. And y is 4. And again, our last step, make sure you write that ordered pair when you're done. Second last problem here on this page, we have the hamburgers and bag of chips here at Piggly Wiggly. So Pete went in and he's got 2 pounds of hamburger, 1 bag of chips, and spent $9.77. And then we have Mrs. Jones, who got 3 pounds of burger, 5 bags of chips, and spent $29.32. What I did was solve this top one for y. You could use elimination too if you want to multiply, but I just solved this top one for y, plug it into the bottom one here, found out that x was 279, then plug the 279 back in here, and y was 419. Now again, you know it's a word problem. Write that final answer as an ordered pair. Break-even analysis, that's where your revenue equals your cost. So for our car wash here, we're charging $6 per car. That's your sale price, that's your revenue. The cost was $650,000 for the car wash plus $225 a wash. So you set these two things equal, and we're going to solve for x, and we need roughly 173,333 car washes to break even. Then anything obviously after that is going to start stepping into your profit. All right, page 2. Substitution. Now we got 3 equations, 3 variables. Don't let that bother you here. Notice this first one's already solved for z. So I know that z is 3. I can just slide it right up here and plug that in. That allows me to solve for y. So now that I know z is 3 and y is 7, I can plug those into the top equation. That allows me to solve for x, which is 1. And now I have my ordered triple. So 1, 7, and 3. And don't forget to write that as an ordered triple when you're done. Number 8. Again, don't let this bother you here. We got to do a little bit of work first. Just divide by 3. I've seen some people add these two together too. You can take the second and third one, add them together if you'd like, and find y first. But you can just divide by 3 and get z. So z is 10, and then I can plug 10 in here and solve for y. And once I have 10 and 18 for y and z, plug it into the top equation, which allows me to solve for x. Again, don't forget, write as order triple. Okay, 9 and 10, we have systems of inequalities. This one here, we have 4 equations, and that's going to work out okay for us because they're in slope-intercept form here. So the first one in purple, y-intercept at 8, slope of -3. That's a dotted line because there's no equal to here, as opposed to the green is solid because it's less than or equal to. And here we've got y-intercept of 5, slope of -2/3. X and y greater than 0, that's the blue line here for x, and the red one for y. And I'm not going to use 0, 0 for my test point because that's on these lines, so I used 1, 1. And so greater than these two and less than the purple and green one is this area right here is our solution region. So this is where it should be shaded. Some of you on our last few homework assignments and quiz did not shade, so make sure you do that. All right, number 10. This is a quadratic, so we got to move x squared over. So negative x squared opens down. So be mindful of that. And we just move, normally x squared at 0, 0, but we moved it up 6 points. So it starts here at 6, opens down. This again is a line in slope-intercept form, solid. Both of these are solid because they have the equal to. And I can use 0, 0 this time because it's not on either line or curve. And that is true for both of these. Works here, 0 is less than 6. Works here, 0 is less than 4. So I am shading this area here in yellow. Okay, number 11, hopefully you saw the key point here, which was the do not solve. You're just setting up the inequalities for this one. So we've got 3 different accounts paying interest. So one is paying 1.5%. One is paying 5, and one is paying 3.5. So that's the difference as far as X, Y, and Z is the interest they're paying. The total investment was $14,000. So when I add these 3 accounts together, we've got $14,000. The interest paid, now notice I put the interest here as a decimal. The interest earned on all 3 accounts is $375. And then the last order of business here, it says the amount invested in this account, the 1.5% account, is 3 times the amount in this account. So x is equal to 3y. And that's our third equation. Again, you did not have to solve these, you just had to set those up. And that paves the way for our final page on our test review. One-to-one property. So a little bit of review here. Again, when you get these exponentials, you got to have the same base. So this is base 3. 243 can be written as base 3, 3 to the 5th. Once the bases are equal, then the exponents have to be. So x minus 4 equals 5. I'm going to add 4 here. All right, make sure you don't subtract 4. We're going to add 4, and x is 9. Similar idea here. They're already the same base. They're both base e. So 4x minus 1 is equal to 31, and we can solve for x. Move the 1 over and divide, and x is 8. All right, 14 tells us to round to 3 decimal places. This is an exponential equation. So first thing I'm going to do here, I added 15 over to the 71. So if you're wondering how I got from here to here, I added 15. And so that's what gave me the 86. Next step, I'm going to divide by 2. When I divide by 2, I get 43. Now I have 2 different bases here, so I got to do change of base formula. So log of 43 over the log of 5 is going to equal this exponent. At this point, I use my calculator for that to get a decimal. 3 decimal places is great. Add 3 over and divide by 2 to get my final answer there. So 2.669. If you round it to 2.67, that's great too. I'm not going to argue about the decimal place at that point. And then 17 here, synthetic division. First thing I'm going to point out, notice it goes x to the 4th, so 6, 5x cubed. There's no squared term here. So since there's no squared term, make sure you put a 0 there. That's going to jack everything up. Negative 17x, and then our constant's minus 11. We're dividing by x plus 4. That means you take the opposite here in the box. Always what makes this 0. So negative 4 in the box. First number down, multiply by negative 4. Then I add these two. I get negative 19. Multiply by negative 4 gives me 76. Add these two. Multiply by negative 4. And I'm going to add these two numbers. I get negative 321. Be careful right here. This is the big mistake I see. Negative times a negative is positive 1284. Minus 11 is 1273. So now that's the hard part, is the synthetic division. We got all our numbers here. Now we can write our answer. So if we divide it by x plus 4, this number here, 1 less on the exponent, so 6x cubed minus 19x squared plus 76x minus 321, and this is our remainder out here at the end. So again, don't forget to write your answer in this form. This should really be the easy part after you've done all this work. Again, make sure your powers go in order. If you're missing one, like we're missing the squared term, put that 0 there. All right, don't forget this week we've got help sessions too, so look at the weekly rundown, either the PDF file of that or look at the video for the review sessions. It'll be at 10 o'clock. Use PCM Kosenki as the access code, and I'll be there to help you out. All right, have a great week.